Yeah, hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. So Bitcoin currently going down, and it's dragging down, in my opinion, the entire crypto market. Here you can see corrections between, all the way up to maybe 10% downside here in the last 24 hours. And let's take a look at Bitcoin, and then we can see here what is happening. So with Bitcoin, we talked about in the previous videos that as soon as you see a bearish crossover happening on the daily chart, that could mean the turnaround. And we already see this here. There was a little bit of a red bar yesterday. I can't actually remember if that was my last update yesterday already on the on Bitcoin. If we could see that there, I think it was just borderline, but now you see it play out. A bearish crossover on the daily, typically, or at least in this zone in which Bitcoin currently is, in this range, it has meant the last few times a turnaround in the trend. From the upside here, where it was at the resistance level of the range in which Bitcoin currently is, it has meant that it's turning around to the support level of the zone. And that was here, for example, it dropped from 45.5K all the way down to around 38K, 37K, and the time before that as well. So this is what, I think could really play out now. I obviously shared my concerns here already after Bitcoin broke above 45.8K, that it did not manage to push through that 200-day moving average, which I expected it would make it easier, or it would easily break through it. Well, it didn't, and it's now turning around. My primary scenario here is still at play until we break below 42.7K. That is just because we have here a very, very important structural level. So I just have to assume that primarily we go a little bit higher here. Now that could be after a bit of a drop, but it is not too, we can't hide from the fact that Bitcoin is really, really struggling to push through this 200-day moving average. And that is looking very, very similar to what we did back here. This sort of turnaround from the upside of this range, from this resistance level. And in addition to that, this time, we've got obviously the 200-day moving average running here at around 48.3, which seems to make it very difficult for Bitcoin to really break through. So that potential turnaround that we talked about, also for all the altcoins, in my altcoins video I mentioned, or in my altcoin videos, I mentioned here upcoming corrections because most of them were now overbought. Maybe this is now playing out. I think only the next few days will show it, but without a doubt, we can see a shift in momentum here at the moment. And as soon as Bitcoin drops below this support zone here in red, between 44 to 44.5K, until, when it breaks below that, the next level would be that 42.5K level, or 42.7. And then below that, we've got the 50-day moving average at 41.7. And then, first of all, when it breaks this level to the downside, I would again probably have to reactivate here this previous primary scenario where we go down straight away into the target area here between 20 and 29K. And anybody who wants to have the detail about that, check out my last Bitcoin video from yesterday. I explain it all in detail there, and also why my view is that we haven't seen the low yet for Bitcoin, that we have to still make that lower low, either directly or with that short move up and then down. So this is in no means a bullish scenario. Of course, I'm very bullish on Bitcoin, but I think we need to see that lower low first. And we currently see here a correction. Maybe that correction is now finally finished. However, I at the moment still primarily, or I have to primarily still expect the price to move a little bit higher. At least it would be to 51K. Can also go a bit higher. That would be the ideal range here between 55 and 65K. Not saying it will go to 60 or 65K, but the 55 would be ideal, but only if this is a wave B. We can still count it, and I showed you that yesterday in the video. We can still count this here as a wave 4, which would mean that after a wave 4 turnaround, you get, or after wave 4 was reached, you will see here the move in a wave 5 to the downside, and that will then land in the middle of that target range. So very interesting that we finally see this bearish crossover happen on the daily. We talked about that previously, and that is a good, it shows very well that, for example, if a certain asset or a certain cryptocurrency does not manage to push through a certain resistance level, that there is a certain risk of it turning around. Yeah, if it stays here for a while, you will see that momentum shift, that momentum change, and I think that is what we currently observe on the Bitcoin price. However, still primarily expect the price to go up, but we need to understand that the momentum is shifting. We already saw that 8-hour bearish crossover here a few days ago, or actually a few weeks ago, and that is now decreasing in momentum again. So it really looks like that the momentum is heading further down, even here on the 4-hour chart, where we've had here also yesterday that bearish crossover again, that we're not yet in the oversold range. So also here is more downside potential. So yeah, I think there is a risk that Bitcoin is rolling over again. We just need to have it on the radar. At the moment, nothing is really clear, because we, as I said, until Bitcoin is really breaking either above the 200-day moving average or below that 42.7K, any move here doesn't really give us any progress. And that is so frustrating at the moment about Bitcoin, that these longer corrections, they don't really help you. You know, they don't really help us. They can drive people insane, with the up and down and the volatility, but they don't really add anything structurally to the chart, because we are just in a correction and in a range. And until we break out of this range, there isn't really a stronger indication of where we're heading. Obviously, Bitcoin didn't really care about that 45.8K level. It is the 200-day moving average I think Bitcoin would need to break above to really make a move. Now, so far it hasn't done it. It has difficulties. It was rejected with a huge candle up here on the 30th of March or the 31st. And now we see the momentum potentially rolling over. And that would match very well my S&P 500 analysis that I published on the other channel. And for that, you can find a link in the video description, where I do expect a little bit of further downside. And in the last few weeks and months, Bitcoin has followed the S&P 500 a little bit. And also it would match my analysis of the other altcoins, where I do actually expect a correction now. So this would be very much in line. We just need to see now in the next few hours or days if Bitcoin breaks above or below one of these important levels. And then in each of these scenarios, the price is dropping into this target area. These are my two main scenarios. Did tell you before, and I had one comment yesterday about it, that I never told you that all-time highs are also possible. Of course they are, but with a very, very low probability. And I mentioned that in various videos. Of course, I don't mention it in every video, and I also understand if someone can't watch all the videos, but I always mention that everything is always possible in financial markets. So Bitcoin could also go to zero, but the probability is just minimal. And so is the probability to go from here to new all-time highs from my point of view. Sorry, and therefore the two main scenarios for me are either to go down straight away into this target area, or have a bit of an extended correction to the upside. That is what you often see. That is what we saw here as well, before we come down. But what the fact or the situation for me is that we have not seen that capitulation yet that we need to see, where everybody's leaving the market, everybody's getting frustrated, because only then you typically see those sustainable uptrends again. Alright, that's my view about Bitcoin. Hopefully you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye bye.